Hello there, greetings. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and friends across the globe. You know, all the world has become but just a very small village, and this being a very great and adventurous moment. And the great moments ahead for me. This is your producer and your tuber Apostle, the YouTuber. Now, today I'm going to be doing something very important. Today I'm going to be watering my smaller garden. This is a smaller garden where I do have some fruity plants, as you're going to be seeing them around. I do have, mango trees here. I do have pixies. I do have oranges. And, like 3 to 4 tree plants of lemons. And today I'm gonna be doing furrow. Let me just call it a furrow irrigation because I was looking for the best name and I cannot find it. So I think what I do here is a furrow irrigation where you pour water along the trenches to water your plants. Here I have planted, as you are gonna be seeing around, I've planted maize. And along the maize plants, I do have, some spinach. I do have what we call in Kenya sukuma wiki. I do have, you know, dania, which is coming up. And so today is so very chilly again in Kenya. It's so very chilly. Remember, I'm in Makueni County of Kenya. But because I do have big tanks, those are 4 tanks of 10,000 liters each, and they are full. Because what I'm doing here, I'm using, solar power to pump my water because it's cheaper, it's manageable, it's better. But now, since it's chilly, it's a very mist in the morning, the solar cannot work. But what I've already reserved or preserved in my reservoir tanks, those are 40,000 liters, more than enough to water this small garden, even when there is no sun to pump some more water. So, as I wait for the sun to come along in order to be able to pump, I'm going to be using what I have in the reservoir tanks. So, the job is just about to begin. I'm going to let loose water through my 2 hose pipes, which are a very high volume in speed of water production. And I'm going to start the job. Why am I holding the hoe in my hand? This one is for, you know, for taking care of the water, bringing it back to the trenches in case it overflows. Because sometimes as I run from this side to that side, since I'm alone and using 2 high-speed hose pipes, at the same time I'll be watering my forest trees that are around, together with some bananas, a few banana plants that I have here. How many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Show them bananas around this. They have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Plants of bananas. All these I'm gonna be watering today as I water the small garden. This is my smaller garden, which is about of more than a half an acre. It's almost 3/4 acre. This small is what I call the garden closest to home, apart from the major, bigger, farm that I have. But this one, I treasure it most because, that smaller, garden that is nearest to your home, where you run and, get your vegetables and whatever. Even though you cannot see them now, they are literally too small. What you can see is some maize plants or corn that I've planted along. And so it's a mixture of crops because it's the nearest to the home. the nearest home farm where you run and get everything. And so now let me get to work right now. I'm going to open the water and begin to position the hose pipes. As my hole is kept on top of the borehole, this is where I do have the borehole, permanent borehole, very deep borehole, very much yield of 20 cubic meters per hour. And so I begin to organize myself as I open the water now. I have someone to hold the camera for me at least for some time. That I can show you, my friend, how we work manually here in Africa. And tweke kalabaza mungu awasia weba iba kuwe kala kwanzi wasia unugu. So you have to arrange. Wiki hapo ndo hapa luko lakini weba tu ndio kala kwanzi. Okay. I'm pulling my hose pipe. It's a huge pipe. This one is don't think it is a not small pipe. It's a big pipe. This one is just stay there as I come along with me. Now let me show them what I usually do. Show my friends what I usually do. Since I'm going to use what we call a furrow irrigation using the hose pipe, you gotta be very careful that there are no twistings, nowhere twistings. So I open the water source number one. Water source number one. Woo! It is flowing. Then we get to source number two. Water source number two. Water source number two. I gotta arrange it. Okay. I can even open it before placing it or fixing it where I wanna have it starting today. So this is what I'm doing. Yeah, the water is now. This is a process that I'm using. This is a method I'm using to irrigate. You have to take it as close to the ground as much as possibly you can to avoid what we call, to make sure that you don't affect the ground through erosion or the farm through erosion. So this is what we do, and this is the work I'm doing here in Upcountry Home, Makueni. This is Makueni County in Kenya. So this is what I do, man. Okay. Now, because I'm using two, I have to rush here and there to make sure everything is okay. Now we go to the other corner. The other corner of the farm. It is not an easy thing to do, as it were, but I have to be active and very proactive. As I said, this is my gym, and I like it. I like doing it manually because when I water there, as I'm watering from this side, I'm also watering from the other side. So that through the two hose pipes, eventually I come to meet in the middle, and from here I go to the other trench. So I do have two benches, if you will, or two trenches. I don't know how you call them there. So this is what I'm doing from that end to this end. I meet at the center, and then after that I get to the other one. So it's not an easy job. It's a total gym, particularly when it is as cold as it is this morning. Okay, join me. Let us see what is happening on the other side. Okay. The water is of a very high volume, as I said. You know, at the same time, I'm watering the bananas and the forest tree. That's a forest tree. So what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Now, you realize the hose pipe here is shorter. It is shorter. It cannot stretch up to that tree. But if it happens you are using a shorter, by any chance, hose pipe that cannot get to the tree or to the plant where you are watering, what you do, you just be careful not to erode the soil. So, which is why if you observe keenly, you find I'm hitting the water against the banana trunk, against the banana stem, so that it doesn't hit the ground directly, because if it hits a pit hole directly, it will cause a very bad erosion. So these things, you do them technically, you do them also using a lot of education and a lot of learning. You don't just do them casually. You have to understand a lot of things. Because when I'm doing that, you see, now on the other side, the water is running. And so what I do, I don't take too much time. I don't take too much time. And because I don't want to tire my camera person today, I want to leave the water there, watering this one together with the camera, still focusing there. I run by myself alone, and then I come. I run by myself alone to change the hose pipe from the other side, and then I come back here. So I'm not gonna tell the one that is holding my camera this morning to run along with me, because it may not sound good. So the focus will be here on this water source, on the hose pipe, watering this, banana plant. Then I rush there and I come. Okay, focus there. Let me do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. For the rest of today, I'll be rushing back and forth, doing my most enjoyable gym, that is watering using the furrow or trench method of irrigation. So that makes me happier, it makes me better, it makes me stronger. And because I cannot keep you watching what I'm doing, running here and forth, to and forth, I will leave it at this point with you today, and we shall continue. So this is how we do it, and I really enjoy it, instead of doing drip irrigation, because the water is too much, and I want to pour a lot of water into my trees, into my farm garden. This method has its own advantages. And some of the advantages, or key advantages, is that you put a lot of water on one tree. A lot of water on one tree. So once like this now, this plant is my lemon. It could be either a lemon or a citrus plant. Citrus fruit plant. I put a lot of water, I irrigate a lot of water. The advantage of this kind of irrigation, but only can be applied when you have a lot of water. You can do it once in a week, or at most twice in a week. So the other days you'll be resting or doing something else. So everything that does have disadvantage have even greater advantages. So with the drip irrigation, you can use a little water, but with this one there is much work. There is enough gym, but you find you work a few days. You water once in a week or twice in a week. This one will take around 30 to 40 liters of water. That is very good to keep it very good for a whole week. Between 30 to 40 liters each one. When you have a lot of water, feed your trees. Give them enough. And that will be very good for them. So until next time, I am your friend, your producer, Apostle, the YouTuber. Bye bye for now.